I just want to introduce myself first. There are so many of you that I know and that I've been working with, so it's really great to see you here. But in case you don't know me, my name is Emma, and I'm a Customer Onboarding Specialist here at SmartSuite. So I've worked with many of you and hope to work with many of you on building your workflows and helping you succeed in the product. And today I'm joined by Jeff Gonzalez, who is an account strategist and passionate builder. So he's going to show you some things he's been working on the last couple days as well. So very nice to meet you, and hello again if we do know you. We're going to take a use case strategy, a real world example, and we're going to embed the application of new features. So today is not necessarily a demonstration of the features, it's more how can you use these features in action. So today we will be going over these topics. Jeff will be talking about automations in the document designer updates. So how you can create a comment via a automation action, how you can merge records, how you can create a PDF and attach it directly back to the record, all through an account and sales order use case. We'll go on to sharing dashboards and creating pivot tables and heat maps from the use case as well. And then I will go ahead and move into our form updates. So expect a workflow. We will be showing you how to use each enhancement, but we want to provide context and give you ideas on how these enhancements can level up your workflows. And the last two features will be the communication center that many of you are very excited about. We'll show you how to set up and connect your Gmail or Outlook, and then I will provide a demonstration of how this can be beneficial in your workflows. And then lastly, I will share our rich text in our help text. So many of you may not even know we have help text, but I want to provide not only how you can use help text, but then the additional enhancements we've made to the help text feature. So with that, I will go ahead and pass it over to Jeff. You can share your screen.
Awesome. Give me just a second here.
Perfect.
You
I can see.
see, yeah, application of new SmartSuite features.
I do. Yes.
Beautiful. Before I dive into our list of features, Emma, what do you think? Should I just give like a quick orientation to the solution so people have context into what we built here?
Please do. Yes. Thank you.
Fairly simple solution that we have here, right? Simple to understand what's going on. I have a list of, in this case, accounts, right? I have them grouped in this view by the account owner. So I'm showing where this account is, who my primary contact is for the account, email address, and then of course, yeah, who owns it, right? And then I also have articulated who the manager is for this account owner. So this is Emma's grouping of accounts, my grouping of accounts, Nate's, Rick's. And so these accounts purchase things from us. And before I talk about the sales table, I'm going to skip over to products because this is the list of the products that these accounts would purchase from us in this fictitious business that we've come up with here. A list of every single product, its availability, our per unit price, category of the product, and then product name. We've gone ahead and dynamically populated this title field, stringing together the auto number and product name field to be able to articulate exactly what it is that we are selling. And then this table of sales, we'll call it a junction table. The reason why I call it a junction table is because it's bringing together a value from accounts, right, to articulate which account the sale is related to, and then a value from product to show which product we sold to that account. We've gone further to say this is the quantity of units that are sold, and then the cost, which is a formula, very simple, quantity of the product. And then we can dive into the actual per unit cost of the product using this dot notation in a formula to say the quantity multiplied by the product gives you that per unit. Or sorry, quantity times the per unit cost of the product gives you the cost of that sale. That's the amount of that sale. And of course, the date in which that sale happened. I'll first start by showing a couple of automations that we built in here. Emma, are we getting any questions so far? I'll stop there just to make sure that everybody's clear about the use case and solution that we have here.
No, that's great. One question I'm sure maybe some people have is if you could describe the linked record connections and what is linked to what.
Yeah, of course. I'll take it even a step further. A linked record field, right? So I have this table of sales here, and I can add columns to it. We call columns fields. I have over 40 different, I believe we're now at 45, Emma, 44?
46, I think.
46. Look at you. Look at us. 46 different fields to choose from. One of the most useful fields, arguably, is our linked record field type. And what this field type allows you to do is point to other tables in your workspace and say that information on this table is related to information on another table, right? In this case, I have a list of sales and I have a list of accounts. I want to be able to attribute this sale to another account on another table that I've already listed out. And I can do that right here. The link to, and then I choose the link table as accounts to be able to say that this sale is with Ellis LLC, Willis Harrison, etc. I'm doing the same thing with products. This is a linked record field that points to my table of products that I've listed out here to say that this sale is related to that product. Now, without further ado, I'm going to dive into some of our new automation functions. Actions specifically, the first one that I'm going to talk about is the ability now to be able to create a comment. And so I will first go ahead and just show a dashboard that I built here. Emma's going to talk about some of these things that we built here for this sales form, right? But basically, this is a collection of two widgets. It is a form, and then it is a grid view of sales. And so what I want to do is I want to submit a new sale, and then I want it to automatically ping or comment my manager saying, hey, please review this, because there is an approval process when submitting a sale to make sure that it is legitimate sale, right? In this case. So I'll go ahead and choose the account. I'll make it for Hill Herman, just for example's sake. I'll say that they purchased the assimilated actuating website. Not sure if that's a real thing, but here we are. We're doing it. And I'm going to say that they actually will be purchasing on Friday. I'll confirm that I am indeed not a robot, contrary to popular belief. And that's going to trigger an automation that produces this comment here. SmartSuite automation says, hi, Peter Novosel. Please see record for details about a newly submitted sale on your team. So in this case, a user in my instance, also known as SmartSuite's CTO, Chief Technology Officer, Peter Novosel, is my manager. And I've had a comment automatically created and assigned to him to let him know, hey, you were just assigned something to review. If we look at the automation setup here in our automation menu at the top, it's a pretty straightforward automation. I have it set to where when a record is created. I could also have it set to when a record matches conditions or when a form is submitted. Since I did this via form, I wanted to just make this really straightforward. So when a record is created, and as long as the manager is not empty, I wanted to create a comment. We have an entire list of different actions, and I'm going to talk about a couple more actions that we have available to you in the product. But I went ahead and chose create a comment. And in this setup, I can call on fields of information from that record that's triggering the automation. So in this case, hi, manager, which I have a field, which I pointed out earlier, articulating who the manager is for this account. And since this account has been attributed to the sale, I can bring that information over about the manager. Please see record for details about a newly submitted sale on your team. And I've gone ahead and assigned that comment to him. And so automatically he will, one, obviously have this comment created in SmartSuite, and two, he will receive an email saying you've been assigned to a comment on a record. He'll have a link to click into directly from that within that email to view this record, just like this, in which he can move the status into approved or denied, depending. really exciting to be able to actually create comments now. A lot of the strategy that I work with folks on is, okay, how do I drive notifications? Do we want to send people to Slack? Do we want to send people to Teams? Do we want to send people to their email inbox? Or would we prefer to keep them in SmartSuite? And oftentimes I find folks want to keep conversations relative to the work being done as far as tasks, projects, sales, whatever the context is. If it's related specifically to an item, they want that conversation to happen in SmartSuite, and then maybe some sort of external notification to an email, which you're seeing in this case. Part of the reason why we built this feature out. I hope it's exciting for other people as well. I have some folks that I work with who were really excited to see that get released. Next thing I'll talk about is our merge records automation action. Now, this isn't brand new to SmartSuite. We've had this for a little bit, but I just want to emphasize how important this automation action is, or how valuable it could be. I got off a call with a group from UCLA a couple of days ago, talking through what could be seen as a pretty simple use case, but as we start to unpeel, just as in most solution development conversations, as we start to peel back some of the layers of complexity, we realize there's actually a lot more that they're looking for from the solution in terms of automations that meets the eye at first. So I'm going to talk about what it looks like to be able to eliminate duplicates. And the context for this is I want to create new accounts in my accounts table. And if that account already exists, whether it's, you know what, I won't spoil it. I'll show you in a little bit. But if it already exists, I want it to go ahead and merge with that existing account record. And then maybe even let the person know, hey, you just created a duplicate. Maybe you shouldn't do that. I'm going to create a new account using this form. This is a very simple and similar design pattern that we saw in the last one. Form on the left, list of things on the right. While I'm here, quick plug, this configuration is being dynamically filtered. So if Emma were to view this dashboard, it would be a different experience because she'd see a different list of accounts. I'll open this modal up. I'm going to change this to my accounts because my OCD just realized that I put my sales on here. But this is essentially a list of my accounts, and it's being dynamically filtered by the account owner field, which we don't even have displayed here at this point. But here's our account owner field. And if this value is my name, that account will show for me. I'll exit without saving. Let's go ahead and just create a new account and show this new feature off. We'll say Jeff at smartsuite.com. None of these other fields are required, so I will avoid that. I'm going to make sure the account owner is Jeff Gonzalez so that we can see it pop into this list. We saw Wire PLC, and in automation, we'll go ahead and actually fire off the moment that we do that. We'll give it a second to figure out what's going on, but I'm going to talk about the actual setup of this automation. Fairly straightforward. Again, when a form is submitted, which form? The new accounts form. Then we just went ahead and filled this out in. What happens when that form is submitted? I want you to merge records, and I want you to merge records if the account name or the company name is the same as another record in that same table. So the moment I submit a form, what this automation is doing is it's scanning all of the other records in that table to see if there's a match, an exact match. It is case insensitive, so it doesn't matter about capitals or lowercase. It'll still factor, hey, these are the same characters, the same string of characters. From there, we have the ability to choose how we want them to merge. I've chosen to ignore a good amount of these different fields, but we have replace, append, and ignore. What this means is if there is some sort of value that we want to replace, let's say we submit the second entry, and if there's some sort of update, maybe to a customer ID or a primary email address, I want it to go ahead and replace the initial value. Append would allow us to say, go ahead and add this. So let's say I submit an account and I also create that account to have additional sales orders. I already have that account in my system with some sales orders as well. I want you to append the value in sales orders so that all of those values come together, and then every single sales order that was linked to both of them exists now within this one account record. And then ignore, fairly straightforward. Just go ahead and ignore it and keep all of the initial values that existed. So I'll go ahead and toggle all of these to ignore because that's how I wanted that to work. That is our merge record action. And as you can see, we no longer have an additional copy account. I'll pause there. Emma, do
Yes,
we have
quick
any questions
question.
coming through?
Yes, but I don't think it's possible quite yet. Can signatures be merged into a record once a form is submitted? I don't know. Do you know, Jeff? I don't think so because technically with a signature, it's a data validated field, so we never want to compromise a signature being replaced, but
I would
we could
probably design it differently. And what I mean by that is I've helped groups implement a table of signatures. And then that would be linked to whatever item that they would be providing their signature to. If you want them to sign via a form, they would choose that item from a linked record field that exists in that form and then sign. And then we would be able to, on that record that it's linked to, show that signature record in sort of a table format and show that signature field so that we could see all of the information about, let's say it's a contract record, right? You could see the link to signatures and you could see the signature directly on there, but it exists as a separate table. The moment you start to use this automation to update existing records, you'll find there are going to be a lot of different complexities. It's not really truly built for that. I think that there are probably some really brilliant people who could make it work for them, but I would probably suggest separate table, link to object, and signature.
Okay, one more question. Will we have the ability, similar to DocuSign, ability to update and download documents without having the signature on the actual form when filled out?
Yeah, so probably a better question fit for a question better fit for our CEO. I don't believe so. I don't believe that's a priority for us at this point, based on what I'm seeing, just because companies like DocuSign, PandaDoc do that extremely well. And via Make.com or Zapier, we found that integration is pretty straightforward, or even via our REST API. So we're not prioritizing it at this point, but I don't imagine we're completely closed off to the idea down the line.
Okay, all right.
I
I
didn't mean
think
to I didn't
that's
mean
all
to
the
answer like a
questions for
politician
now.
there, but I don't want to incriminate us in any way.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I think we're always looking for new ways to improve the product. Feel free to look at our roadmap, and if you don't see anything, you can create a record, or sorry, create a new feature request. But I think we're good on questions for now. You can go ahead and continue.
Let's do it. Okay, cool. Last automation action that I'm going to show off is the PDF creation and then attaching that PDF to a record. I have a very simple automation that I built. I keep saying it's simple, but it seems like it is. In which the moment that a status is approved for a sale, the moment a sale is approved, I wanted to go ahead and save a PDF that sort of explains what's happening for that record. And I want it to dynamically populate. You see a little error here. Probably have to fix that. But I want it to dynamically populate information from the field, from the record, sorry, the data from the record into a PDF, right? And I want to have some static elements of the PDF, being able to lay out what my, in this case, sales order should look like. I'll show what that experience, where that experience comes from. I actually built this in our document designer. It's a collection of, like I mentioned, static elements. I can put lines in here, images, links, text, which is what you're seeing here in sales order, this line here, and then the makeshift table that I built down here. And then you can populate it with fields of information. You can resize those fields. So in this case, I went ahead and put cost here. I can size, I can rotate it. I can choose the font size, weight, line height, border color, text color, and then I can duplicate it, have it repeat across a ton of value in being able to automate the way that this is populated because I could just choose a different record and it populates it with the information that I want it to. They issued order number, customer ID as well. Really quick way to be able to create invoices, sales orders, etc. We've had this ability to build this. We've enhanced this quite a bit over the last quarter, and I'm really proud of what we've done here. I can always preview this, right? And I can export from this menu, and it will save as a PDF. But I want to take that a step further, and a lot of our customers do too, where I want it to automatically do that based on some sort of automation trigger in SmartSuite. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So we're going to save a PDF in a sale record. This is all going to be triggered when a record is updated. In this case, it's just specifically when the status changes from anything to equal to approved. The moment that sale is approved, I want it to generate a PDF. We can title the PDF whatever we'd like based on either static elements or a field or fields from that record. And in here, I'll have the ability to choose which document designer template that I want us to use. In this case, I just used new document was the title of what I created. Extremely creative title on my part. And then after that, I wanted to update a record. So how do I want it to update the record? Sale overview, which is my files and images field. I want to populate it with something. What do I want to populate it with? I can go to my use data from action, generate PDF, and I could see that exported PDF available to me in that menu. And that's exactly what we just saw. The moment that I moved this into approved, it took the document designer experience, exported it for me, and then saved it in the record. Small refinements like this are something that I definitely need to do. But if we see some of the PDFs from previous examples, a whole lot more clean.
Perfect.
Any questions on that one?
Oh, so one thing about putting charts in dashboards, you can do a image in a dashboard, but I think that's definitely something that we'd probably want you to put on our roadmap for sure. And then another question, we're absolutely adding enhancements to the document designer periodically. Expect
I
many
get that.
updates in the future.
Yeah, I get that often, Queenie. It's
I
important for us to know exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, I
Just
think
because, yeah, go ahead.
the enhancements we will be adding to dashboards and embedding charts and having it more of a page view, I think will cover that use case. What do you think, Jeff?
Will there be more capacity for document designer in the future? Was the question for document designer specifically?
Oh, for embedding charts on the document designer.
Apologies, I moved on to Queenie's question that's in the Q&A.
It's probably more of a dashboard feature, and then you can export to PDF. Okay. Oh yeah, we will continue to enhance the document designer, of course. So I know we're coming up on the 30-minute mark, so we're going to continue to go to the next features, but continue to put your questions in and we'll be answering them as we
While we're
go.
here, yeah, make sure you throw any and all feedback to smartsuite.canny.io. It's important for us and our product team to be able to see that and record how many times something's been requested. Next piece that I'll talk about, shared dashboards and new widgets. So let's jump into accounts and we'll talk first high level about the fact that we can now share dashboards. Hold for applause. Very similar to how we share any other view, right? A grid view, calendar view, Gantt view. We now have the ability to share information that is in a dashboard. And this is incredible because a lot of folks use our dashboards as a user interface layer, right? Because it's a very special view type in the fact that it sits on top of the product. And what I mean by that is I can pull information from every table across my entire workspace, whether it's some sort of visual that assesses that information, or even truly just that information in a grid view format and everything in between. I can pull it from my entire workspace and bring it to that one place. And so the fact that we can now share this view and restrict it with the passcode, choose whether we want to display a toolbar, allow viewers to open records, share all fields. The fact that we have that flexibility to be able to share with external folks, people external to SmartSuite, an extremely generous offering from SmartSuite, and we're really excited to offer it to you. Now I'm going to dive into a very special new widget. I'm calling it Pivot Table because it is essentially that. I'm going to configure this live on the call here so that you can see what I'm getting at. It's part of the reason why I gave you all the context of what's happening in this solution, where I have a list of my different products, a list of my different customers, and then sales of those products to our customers. And so I can go into this pivot table settings configuration menu. I want to choose the solution that I want to pull data from, and then the table. So in this case, I want to assess sales our junction table. So we're going to be able to have a row and a column represented by two different linked record values. In this case, I want a row for each of the accounts that I have listed off on this sales table. I can choose how I want to sort it, whether I want to group or value, and then I could choose the sort order, whether it's ascending or descending. Then we've got columns. In this case, I want products to be my columns. So I want to see accounts, and maybe I want actually ascending. So I'm seeing product 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And then for the summary portion, I don't want a count of the number of sales. Maybe I do. In this case, I'd actually prefer to assess a specific field. Which field do I want to assess? I want to assess cost, or I could assess quantity. But in this cost assessment, I could choose whether I want to sum, min, max, average. In this case, I'm going to say sum. Really cool use case for being able to see by individual account and by product the sum of what we've sold. This is awesome for being able to identify different areas where maybe the business is doing well, or maybe an individual is selling extremely well for a specific product or into a specific account. And we want to be able to figure out what's the story behind those numbers. But this is a great place at a high level to be able to see any sort of correlation in the data.
Quick question, Jeff. How did you create that? How did you access the pivot table? Can you show us how to create a dashboard first? And then just in
I
case
can,
anyone's new to this.
of course. Yeah. So you can hover over create new view at any point, and you'll see this menu here. This is how you can access creating a new folder. Or I can click on create a new view and see an extended menu of each of these different view offerings. I'll go ahead and just create an example dashboard. And as you can see, it's like a blank canvas. And then from there, I can add widgets. I have a ton of widgets to choose from. I can go through different sections to see which widget I want to use, or I can simply come here to the top and say, I want the pivot table. And that's exactly how you would add the pivot table. You'd go through that same process of assigning rows, columns, and the summary. You'd hit add widget, and you would have this experience here.
Perfect. Okay. I think we're good to go on to heat maps.
Let's do it. I believe heat map was in sales. Here we go. Cool. Actually, very simple. Sorry, simple. Similar to our pivot table in this case, as far as the X and Y axis settings that we have here, to be able to create a heat map or really any chart, you can do so within a dashboard view, or you have a little bit more flexibility to dial in on some details in a chart view type specifically. I can come here to the list of different chart options. And in this case, I chose heat map chart. From here, I'll go ahead and show in the context of what I've already built. I can choose which value I want to do something with. So in this case, I'm doing the same thing, cost. I want to see a sum of the cost. And then I want to choose my X and Y axes. So my X axis is account. And in the last pivot table, I chose product as my X axis, and then Y for my product to be able to see in each of these a darker color for the larger sales into which accounts. Heat map is valuable for being able to even more quickly identify higher or lower values in a larger sort of pivot table format. You
Great.
can also include different dynamic filters here, which this is extremely valuable. If I had maybe an assign to field for who is it that owns this sale, I can come through and I could choose from a list of different options around maybe Emma or Jeff to see a very individualized heat map chart for the work they've done.
Can you change the colors, Jeff?
I don't believe so.
Okay. That would be a feature request. I know Adrienne likes the pinks and the purples. I know yeah, she said need purple. That's funny. Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Okay. I've been able to get through the questions with a couple that we'll probably want to cover at the end. But if you're ready, I'm ready to move on to forms.
Let's do
That
it.
works. Okay. Thank you, Jeff. All right. Can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So I will be starting in a dashboard view as well. First, I'm going to provide an overview of how these features can exist in a workflow. And I will also show you how to use these new features as well, because I could show you something, but if you don't know how to set it up yourself, then what's the point? So I'm going to start in our account hub. This is the same dashboard that Jeff was just showing you the pivot table in. So we have some new enhancements coming to the dashboard. You may or may not see some of these right now. We have the heading and the buttons available for you. So I've created a hub where salespeople, managers, whoever needs to access the account hub can come in here and do two things. And these are actually buttons that are associated with forms. I'm going to show you the updates to the forms that make the forms even better. But we're actually going to go through a workflow as if I was a salesperson going through the particular account or new sale creation. So I'm going to start with create a new sale. It's going to prompt me to come to this form. I'm going to explain the enhancements we have, and then I'll show you how to create them after. But as you can see, we have a SmartSuite sales form, and you can, of course, customize a logo to be your own, but we are, in fact, SmartSuite, so I kept our logo. You'll notice that we now have the ability to add a call out. Why is this important? Is it because it can call out something before someone submits the form? And we have the ability to actually embed hyperlinks. So in this case, I don't want someone to create a sale without an account doesn't exist. They need to create the account if it's not yet created. Because notice that you have the drop down and the ability, as Jeff was showing, to select the account. Maybe I didn't create the account first and I realize I need to create the account before I can create a sales form. We have this link that actually redirects to a new account form. And we also have, this is pretty much dummy proofed. If the account exists, don't create a new one. And with Jeff's merge record, it'll actually merge it. So even if someone makes the mistake and creates a duplicate, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the company name and email, and notice how each particular field has a description. So I'll show you how to help text, but this allows you to specify exactly what's expected for each entry. I've also used our new paragraph feature at the top to explain the SOP that is necessary for creating a new account. This could be also from the side of the customer. If you give them the ability to create a sales order, you can have directions at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and put in this contact information. You can put in an address. Our addresses are actually validated via Google, so it will pop up and allow me to authenticate it. And then I can select an account owner. When I submit this form, it's going to redirect me back to my sales form. So I didn't need to do anything or go back into SmartSuite. But when I go here, you'll notice, okay, I passed this step here. I have a direction in the SOP for creating a sales form. If I didn't create an account, I know what to do in the fields I need to fill out. And then it gives me some sales order steps. This is pretty simple, but you could have a very long SOP description for people to know. So as you notice, I have the drop-down accounts, but I will have the new account that I've created, SmartSuite. And I can go on to select the product that this person or this company is going to be purchasing. And as Jeff was showing you, you go ahead and put a quantity and a date, and you can say, oh, I didn't expect to have to do this. Okay, there we go. So I submitted the form. When I go back to our home account dashboard, we'll see a couple things. It's going to pop up here as a new sale. And then it's also going to pop up here. It's going to sales by product. So I can know, and I'm not going to scroll through all of these, but it created the sale. And as Jeff was showing you, it created that comment for the person to approve the sale. So two simple buttons that they created a workflow without me having to do anything besides type in the information. And workflows kicked off. The merge happened if I accidentally created a new account, created a comment for the person to approve the sale, and all of that. And while we're here in the dashboard, a couple things I wanted to show you. There are ways for you to embed SOPs and direction throughout your workflows. And coming soon, I have access to it. Everyone will have access to it eventually, is our FAQ widget. It's really important, and I think it belongs in the account hub. If there are some questions that people may have, can you add multiple products? Can I apply a discount? So those niche cases in which people need to know what to do, we can have it outlined. And these are just widgets. Same thing, you customize the experience of the widget, the styling, and everything like that. We look forward to releasing that in August for you. And then something that we do have is this is just a text block widget that I've used, and I've created a very formal sales order SOP. So when people are coming into SmartSuite, they're a new SmartSuite user, or maybe even a new project management tool user. We can create a workflow and steps for them to know exactly what they need to do, where they need to click, make it very easy for them. So I've embedded links here to the sections and created this nice SOP for them. And everyone has access to this dashboard. Maybe even people just have access to this dashboard. You don't want them to see the particular products or sales. So let's go ahead and dive into the actual forms and how I set them up and how I enhance the forms using our new features. So first go into the account form.
You mind if I pause you real quick for some questions?
Sure.
Sorry, I don't mean to throw you off your flow.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Got a handful of questions here. The first one, I'm actually going to take it back to PivotTables really quickly.
Mhm.
Can you go over the criteria and dependencies for these PivotTables? Because I notice not all fields populate, only certain fields. Can you open up so view, edit, and then perfect. Thank you. And then let's go to rows really quickly, just for example, and drop down the field selection. Correct. Not all fields are incorporated here. Linked record field types will be formulas, single selects. I believe multiple selects may be on there as well. Number fields, text fields, all of the options in which we could actually have a set number of different values in place will be included on here. Some of the more complex fields, like dependency fields or checklist fields, wouldn't be possible for a row or a column. I hope that's helpful. And then next piece, oh, Emma, are you clicking?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know we're going to be releasing these kind of in a batch in August, so hold tight. We could reach out to you and see if we can give you some access to some of them, but expect a large grouping of widgets being released in August. But feel free to create a support ticket in the bottom right-hand corner and let us know, and we can see what we can do to allow you to play around with those widgets. Okay. Are we ready to continue?
Let's do it.
Okay. So back to our account form. A form is actually just a view type if you're not familiar with it. So you'll create the new form, you can title it, you can make it public or private. The how forms work are there two kind of sections here. There's the display elements, which are all the new features we've added, and then there are the fields. The fields are what's available in your SmartSuite table. So everything that exists, if it's supported in the form, which most fields are, you can select and it will pop up on your form. You can drag and drop them into the location you wish it to go to. And in addition, you can add new fields. When you add new fields, think of it as creating a new field in your table. So just so we're clear there, the form can be customized by a logo, by the title, the description, and then in addition, these elements we've added. So the first element is the ability to create a paragraph. Think of this as a rich text capability to create an outline, a description, directions, anything that you would need to articulate before someone even proceeds to fill out the form. The next one is actually a heading, which I didn't use quite yet. And I can go in there and actually put in, let's do account information. I can title the section by clicking on that heading and title it, and I can even add a description as well. These can actually be conditional based on something that's previously selected as well. We can add an image, and I didn't, but because I just want to keep it really simple, there's not one needed for this particular workflow. But if this is for a customer and you want to keep it on brand, you want to add an image to the form, you can do that directly on the form. Likewise, you can actually create a video too. So maybe this is a welcome video to a customer that you're intaking and you want to create an introductory video for them. And then I've already used the call out. This just brings attention to a particular phrase. And you notice that I actually used a hyperlink in this one to direct someone to create an account that doesn't exist. And then we can create dividers. So maybe I want to divide the SOPs with the actual filling out of the form, and I can do that too. So you can control the color of the divider and the label as well. And you can actually even hide the particular field or show when conditions are met. So the conditions are still available for some of these additions here. And then lastly, we can add the "you're not a robot" to a form, which is actually very nice. So I'm sure everyone knows what that is. So when I created this form, there's a couple of things I did to get it on the dashboard. So first off, I went into settings and I actually have it redirect to a new form. So whenever anyone creates an account, it actually prompts them to create a sales order if they need to. You can display or remove the SmartSuite branding at the bottom. We want to keep it because it's our company, but feel free to remove that. And then you can actually preview the form and see what it would look like all in those settings here. So how did I actually get this form on a dashboard? All forms actually have a link that indicates that they are shared. So let's see here. Preview, that's good. Edit form, I don't know where it went. There's a link to this form. I think it's not showing up at this time. Maybe we added a new feature here and there we go. Okay, copy link. So you can actually copy the link to the form. And what this does is it allows you to actually embed this in a dashboard. As Jeff did, he embedded the new account form. Simple as that, just by creating a widget and using HTML and then pasting the URL right there. So that's how we did it. So forms are good for grasping data externally from people who are not SmartSuite users. But in addition, they're great for workflows because they can trigger automations. They can make it really easy to create new data. So that is it for forms. Sorry?
Yeah. This is interesting. Would you mind hitting refresh on this page?
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Okay, it just disappeared for a second. I thought something was up with me. But yeah, two options for sharing forms. You have to have it toggled. You can copy it and share this link, or you can embed it. You can also embed it on a website, which many of you do, I know. There we go.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Can you go back into that form as shared menu? Important detail. I often find myself using the embed code rather than the shareable link when I'm embedding in a dashboard using the custom code widget. Reason being, you'll find when you copy this embed code and then paste it into the HTML portion of the custom code widget in SmartSuite, you'll find that you can actually change the height and the weight based on a number in there. I believe the setting is like 700 as a default. But when you change that setting, essentially you can have the form modal be larger, wider, shorter, a little bit more flexibility there.
Yeah, and I'll show
There we
you
go.
what he means by that. I have to go back here.
How many tabs?
It's because I'm opening all these forms. So if you copy the HTML code and put it into here, I think I did it something wrong. But anyways, you have the ability to adjust that for sure. And you can do that on your website as well if you want to embed it. Adrienne, I know you do that. Okay, so next I am going to move to our communication center. Just a brief overview. The same exact thing happens for a sales form. So don't want to go over that quite again because it's very similar. But now I will go into our actual communication center update that I know that most all of you are very excited about. First off, I'll show you how to actually connect your email. If you aren't familiar with the communication center, it is a way to not only comment amongst your team members or people who are users, but actually email from here. So if you don't see this email tab, it's likely that you just have to go into the settings and toggle it, and then it will show up for you. So you do have to toggle it for a table before you can access it. But once you do, you can go into emails, and there's two ways to connect your email. The easiest way is just to go into to create a new email, and you'll notice that I have mine authenticated. So you select the from dropdown, and then it will prompt you to manage your email accounts. And this will open up your profile and under the connected emails tab. So you have the option to add Gmail accounts or Microsoft accounts. When you add that prompt to add a Gmail account, you can actually just add it directly from there. Make sure you give your SmartSuite permission to do that as well. And you can have more than one. So when I go to create this new email, you select which account you want to send it from. And then you can select who you want to send it from to. So in this case, we could have an email existing in the record. In this case, we don't. And I want to show you like what this all looks like and how emails come in and out of the communication center. So I'm going to send it to myself. I've created so of course you can always send one-off emails directly out of here, but maybe we want to create a template that we can use again and again, and we don't need to actually create it all over again. So I've created an order confirmation template. So when you create something, you can actually click Save as a template. I'm going to go to Manage Templates because you can see that I've created the order confirmation email. This is something I can reuse frequently. I can have automated, of course, but in this case, I want to show you how the communication center you have more control over. And the good news is it comes right back into the record. So I'm going to actually just send it to, I already clicked on send. So order confirmation, I'm pulling fields similar to automation setup. I'm pulling fields from this record. So I want the subject to be order confirmation dash auto number. I want to say hello and then the account company name. I've typed in some custom messaging and then I provide an overview of the order. So in this case, I'm using the auto number as the order number. I'm putting the date when it was created, pulling the account information via a linked record and a lookup. And then I'm providing an overview of what item was ordered, what's the quantity, what did it cost you? And I gave them a little link to track the status of their order. And then I allowed them to reach out for help if necessary. This is a very formal email. It all happens within a click. I can attach files as well. And I'm going to go ahead and actually fire off this email and I'm going to show you how this communication center works. So here we have it. I just sent the email to myself. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it would look like. Okay, so here's my email. Hi, and then I put the name of the company. I put all of that, and it comes out. And then let's say I want to reply to this email. Thank you. Okay, so I send that with my inbox. And then you'll notice that the response comes right back here. Not only did it actually come from my email, so important to note that I don't know where it went. Let's see. Not only did it come directly from my inbox, if I go to sent, it'll actually show up as that I sent it right there. So it has to originate, something that people ask questions about. It has to originate from the record in order to come back into here. But the thread will continue to show. And there could be multiple threads. Maybe people are also sending emails out of here. So it's the trail audit of communications there. Same thing for an account level. I could create communications on an account level as well. And I could email the customer if anything comes up. Please verify your address. If they want to make a change in the sales order, you can send an email to them through there as well. I think we're okay on questions for this one. Pretty straightforward. All right, I'm going to show you the last feature, and then I can't believe the time has flown by, but I think we got to questions pretty well throughout. So I'm going to show you in just a couple minutes this last feature, and then we'll spend about 10-15 minutes, however long we need, to wrap up and answer any remaining questions. So this one is a hidden gem in SmartSuite, and maybe a lot of you aren't taking advantage of this feature quite yet, but I hope today inspires you. So we actually have the ability to add help text. So you'll notice that right now it's showing as a tooltip here. But if I go into the open record view, this is the best for creating these customizations. And I go into the field settings, I can actually click on this help text tab. So the enhancement here is the ability to create rich text formatting. So as you noticed, I have an actual embedded link. I can highlight things, I can put a bulleted list. And then here's where you can determine, do I want it to display as just a tooltip or I want it to display in the field name? So if someone's creating a sales order and they like doing it from here and they notice there's not an account, they can actually just be directed and create the account right from here. And then you can put standard SOPs or descriptions of what it entails. So here it's if someone doesn't know what to do or link a product, it says click on the plus icon to open up the product selection. And it gives them directions. Maybe we don't know what date exactly is this. It's when the order was placed. Or maybe someone's not familiar with lookups and they're wondering why it's locked. This field actually identifies it's auto-populated from the account linked. So it gives some people direction. You may need more help text as people are getting used to the software, but it's great for new SmartSuite users. And as you make enhancements to your workflow, you can always put help text. And this is a very small enhancement, but I think it's important for people to know about our solution guides because it's actually a very unique feature of ours. So the solution guide, think of it as the instructions or the storybook behind the workflow. So you can access this through the solution dropdown, and then you click on solution guides. So the solution managers who have control over the solution are the ones that typically create this. The admins can edit it, but it's the person who's in charge of the workflow that really documents this. And same thing, we have rich text capabilities. You can create a table of contents. You can create links back to the particular records or even forms. And then you can edit this guide. The new enhancement, the very tiny one, but people are very excited about it, is the ability to export via a PDF. So if you are a hard copy person, this is for you. You want to print it out and know exactly what you're doing, we can do that.
Did you say coffee person or copy person?
Copy, hard copy. If you like your
Oh,
hard
not
copy
coffee.
next to you.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, I thought I heard coffee. I got excited. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue on.
But so note that this is basically most of the features of a smart doc. People can put onboarding videos or SOP videos. Here's how you do this. A video screen share of how to do it actually in SmartSuite. So I think we all miss this feature sometimes, and there's definitely ways that I could use it more as well. So I think that wraps up everything I was hoping to show you today, and we will be happy to take some questions. First off, I just want to share a couple ways we can get connected. So feel free to join our community and follow us on LinkedIn. That is the best way to stay up to date on these feature enhancements. However, secondly, we have a new What's New page. And I want everyone to be aware of this new page because it's the latest of what's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat right here. That's the What's New page. It will show you videos of how to use these features if we went over it too quick today. And then if you are just getting started and this was a little bit more advanced for you, or you're just looking for actually help on how to do this in your workflows, I will provide some resources for you. So we have our getting started workshops, our daily office hours, and more webinars coming. And then lastly, we actually have a training coming up. I have to go back to we have a training coming up, which you can get certified on SmartSuite or learn some of this in action. So I will share that as well in the form while we are answering questions. Jeff, is there anything that has come up?
Is this what you're looking for?
Oh, not, yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Monthly
Oh,
training.
you got it? Cool.
Yeah,
Cool,
that's
cool.
on Thursday, starting at 7 a.m. Pacific. There's 2 parts. You don't have to attend the whole thing, but we would love to host you. I'll be hosting the first part, and Nate will be hosting the second part.
One question that we got here, will there be an ETA for items in the future that are to launch?
Yeah, so our roadmap is the best way to stay connected because we actively, our CEO and product manager, spend almost every day in there looking at features. And as things progress, approved and review and process, released, you will be notified if you vote on the feature. That is the best way to be alerted when things come out. And we do our best to announce. We do announcements, we do webinars, when to expect things. But just to give you a sneak peek, the dashboards are really what we're focused on the month of August. So if you are interested in what's to come for those, including I can give you filter widget tabs, there's FAQs and a lot more that I can't quite share yet, but August will be a great month for dashboarding and almost more of a portal experience.
And resource management.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, capacity planning and
Probably not
resource
early
management.
August. I'd say mid-August, because the reason why is we're not going to release just a couple widgets here and there. We want to wow everyone and just give you a whole nother curve to that. Solution guide. Is there a way to add that feature in a few places? Yeah, you can add it in every solution. So typically, if you want one solution guide, you create a solution just for solution guide, or you could just copy and paste it in multiple solutions. The release is not every August. We release on a daily, sometimes even weekly basis. We're talking about the large release of these widgets, it being in August. It's not just August that we release. There are enhancements I probably don't even know about that happened today that I will be checking after. So we're on a roll with these.
Nicole,
Okay.
hey, what's going on? Welcome, Nicole. Didn't realize you were here. Over here giving shout outs. Any other questions for Emma and or I before we say goodbye and go through the rest of our work days? Ooh, Dimitri. When will we be adding in the mobile app the power search and automation for sending notifications in mobile app on due date and time? A few questions baked into one question that we have.
The power search, I don't think that's something that's like a priority item for us, but definitely something we will continue to consider. We do have push notifications, but automation would probably be the best for that.
Thanks, Jackson. Yeah, Emma and I both have hundreds of conversations about SmartSuite on a monthly basis, maybe thousands. I don't know. I haven't had Power Search in the mobile app get requested yet at this point. In instances like this, I always say go to smartsuite.candy.io, submit that feedback. First, check if that feedback already exists and make sure to upvote it, because the more upvotes that we have, it's also tied to your account. So if you have a paid account with SmartSuite, we'll factor in how many paid accounts or how much in payment is related to this feature request, and we prioritize accordingly.
Exactly. Well said.
Built-in integrations. So we do have built-in integrations with Outlook, Gmail, Slack, and Teams existing. We just up-leveled the Slack integration, the ability to dynamically populate the outbound value. Basically, we can specify a channel within a record or the individual user within a record, and have just one automation set up that sends to various channels or various different members depending on the context of the record that triggered the automation. That was a big release for us. Similar in teams have the same experience. If you have any particular items that you'd like to see us be able to do as far as an integration is concerned, let us know.
Mhm. And then the last thing is quite a bit of you already here. If you have any feedback on the webinar, let us know because we would really appreciate it. In fact, I'm just going to create a quick form for us. I think I failed to do this already. I was too focused on what we were trying to do here. But let me put that in. And if you would be so kind, you can leave a little message for us. Anything you're interested in us sharing too, or doing webinars on, I love ideas. So feel free to submit the form if you wish. Thank you everyone for joining. This was very fun for both of us, I believe. Calendar integration for Microsoft. Right now, that's more of a make thing or a Relay or whatever software you want to use. Zapier, exactly. But
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get to that in the future.
Apologies for not mentioning Relay earlier. I mentioned Make and Zapier. Relay.app is also a really great system integrator tool. Gorkum, welcome. Gorkum, your use case and a lot of the things that we worked with actually inspired a good amount of the content that we created today. Special shout out to Gorkum. When you create approval workflow, approver should be user, or can it be anybody? I don't know what you mean by that, but we can absolutely talk about it offline because we can basically create assignee permissions that allow us to only grant access to specific records based on who's viewing it. That may be the answer to your question, but shoot me an email. Let's talk.
That's good. Yes. That is something we get a lot. I can't think of a particular date and time, but that is on our radar for sure. The ability to add additional conditions.
Oh, conditional logic groupings for automation triggers.
Yeah.
That has been requested by some of our largest enterprise customers as well.
Yes.
Be on the lookout for that. Emma, thanks for doing this.
Oh, no,
if you have any other questions, email us directly, chat in within the product. And as always, keep building solutions in SmartSuite. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any feedback at all, good or bad, we just want to make this better every time. Thank you. We appreciate all of you.